Well, good morning everyone. If you've been watching this series from the start, you would have seen us exploring the magnificent Kakadu National Park. Well, that's not the only reason we're up here in this part of the world. The real reason lies on the other side of this river. This is the East Alligator River, and on the other side is Arnhem Land. I've been wanting to go to Arnhem Land for a long time, and this is finally the day that I step across the river and head across. Over the next few episodes, we're going to be exploring Arnhem Land, starting off with Garig Gunak Barlu National Park, which is on the Coburg Peninsula. That is the very northern tip of the Northern Territory, followed by Eastern Arnhem Land. So join us as we explore Arnhem Land. Arnhem Land is a vast 97,000 square kilometre section of wilderness located in the northeastern corner of the Northern Territory. The land is defined by rocky escarpments, gorges, rivers and waterfalls, and is known for its pristine beauty. The traditional owners of this land are the Yolngu people, and this is the realisation of a long-held dream of mine to finally come and visit this amazing place. Okay, just this morning we are preparing the car for the next leg of the journey. Topped up with fuel. I have 170 litres of fuel. The car is filled to the brim, that's 160 litres. I have two 5-litre jerry cans, they are filled to the brim. We've got the water tank, 40 litres, full of water. We've got several water bottles full of water. We've got fridge full of food. We've got more food and water and fuel than we would need. Fuel should be enough for the trip. There's no fuel once we enter Arnhem Land. There's no fuel at all, but I've worked out the distances and added on some extra fat, so hopefully we'll make it back on the one tank and those two jerry cans. Just getting the camera equipment all ready this morning. I'm getting the car ready, and then we're going to head off shortly and cross the East Alligator River. The East Alligator River is tidal, so we need to plan our trip according to the low tide. Interesting thing is, we won't be able to stop. So we have a transit permit to drive through Arnhem Land, but we're not allowed to stop anywhere until we get to the other end. So it's likely to be at least 3 hours, but more than likely 4 or 5, and potentially a lot longer, depending on the condition of the track, etc, etc. So that means no toilet break either. So I'm about to head across the croc-infested East Alligator River into Arnhem Land. This is where the true adventure starts. The point that I'm crossing now, you need a permit for. My permit begins today. Entering Arnhem Land is like entering a different country. You need permits, and lots of them for all sorts of things. I will explain more about this coming up. Okay, crossing Cahills Crossing right now. A couple of big potholes, but this is pretty close to low tide at the moment. And just like that, oh, we are in Arnhem Land. Now, I'll have to go back. I made a rookie mistake. I actually left the missus and the camera behind, so I had to come back and get them.
I know! What kind of husband are you gonna be? Oh.
So anyway, we're going across Cahills Crossing again. Oh, I think I saw a croc. We are done in Arnhem Land. The thing about Arnhem Land is it's native title land, and this is the home to the indigenous people that live here. This is their homeland that we're travelling on, and we needed to get all sorts of permits to to enter their lands, we need to have a justifiable good reason to be here. Simply because I want to come is not necessarily a good enough reason. So I've managed to get all the permits. We're going to Garig Gunak Barlu National Park, which is about 300 kilometres north from here. We have a transit permit, which means that we can pass through their land, but we can't stop, except in case of emergency. So I don't know what constitutes an emergency. Toilet break? Maybe, maybe not. But we can't stop for any reason. And I think the real reason is that they don't want us spoiling their homeland. They don't want us picking up memorabilia, rocks, plants, littering, doing number twos, whatever. They don't want us to stop and ruin their home. So it's understandable. We do have permission though to stop at a town called Owen Py. Now, Owen Py is a small Aboriginal community. It's about 30 kilometres from Cahills Crossing. There's an art centre there, so we're going to go and have a look at this art centre. We don't have permission to film within the art centre, naturally, but that's not a problem. If I like something and I purchase anything, then I can show you that. We're under strict restrictions on what we are allowed to film and on what we are not allowed to film. So for the moment, we're just going to continue heading on this road until we get to Owen Py and enjoy the beautiful scenery around us. We are heading up the Arnhem Highway towards Owen Py. The surrounding countryside is amazing to look at. I can see some dust approaching us, and it's a road train. So I've already got a chip on the windscreen from about a week ago. This guy passed us and threw up some rocks. So I'm going to stop entirely because I can't see anything when these road trains pass. Whew. All right. So another little bit of information that I've learned is because we're on Arnhem Land, I don't know if the law of the land applies. It probably does, but maybe it doesn't, because I've heard that the locals drive, let's just say, way too fast for the conditions. And so we've got to be on the sharp lookout for oncoming traffic, especially around blind corners, of which there will be many much further down the track. So we'll drive with caution, keep a lookout for oncoming traffic, and hope to get there and back without the car getting damaged or us. So until then, oh, there's beautiful. I think this is the East Alligator River winding its way next to us. It's beautiful. So we've just taken the turn off to the town of Owen Py. This is a small Aboriginal community, only a very, very, very small population. And we've just arrived, in fact. Gunbalanya, that's what it's called, Gunbalanya. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Gunbalanya / Owen Py. It is a very, very small town. I am not permitted to film in the town, but we're going to have a look and I can report back to you afterwards what we have observed and what the town is like. So we'll just need to now find the art centre. And what I'm seeing around me is it's quite colourful. There's very simple looking buildings. There's pink, blue, yellow, green, red, simple construction, coloured walls with corrugated metal roofs. It looks like quite a basic little town, but very nice.
Very colourful.
Yeah, that was not
Really nice.
that was not expected. It's really nice. Every house is a different colour. There's a store and takeaway shop to my right. It's a very interesting little town.
It's here.
Injulak Arts, yes. Since we are not permitted to film within the Arts Centre or within Owen Py itself, we'll leave you with some footage of some whistling kites going about their business.
Look at the birds.
Wow. Just amazing, these whistling kites just flying around. I think he was in the middle of building a nest. Amazing birds. Well, we're just about to leave Owen Py, and I'm waiting for a dog to stop scratching himself in the middle of the road. What's he doing?
Did you see that?
After a short break in Owen Py and a rather lengthy visit through the Arts Centre, which was amazing, we made our way back to the Arnhem Highway and continued on our journey north. We were chatting with the lady at the Arts Centre, and she says that when she first moved into the area, she went camping up in Garig National Park, up in the Coburg Peninsula, exactly where we're going. And because it's right on the coast, there's a huge amount of mosquitoes. And so she said, oh, I hope you've got enough insect repellent with DEET, because you need the stuff with DEET. Yes, we do. And then she says they had to retreat into their tent because there were just so many mosquitoes that you just can't survive. They just devour you. So they were in their tent. In the morning, they came out of their tent and the whole thing's covered in blood because they've got these little microbats, and the microbats go and they feed on the mosquitoes that are on the mesh on the tent, and this whole thing is covered in blood. So I don't know if we're going to have the same experience.
I hope not.
But we do have a mesh room that we brought along with us just in case. When we get there, hopefully I'll get a chance to show you my camping setup for this particular trip. We've made a couple of amendments to our regular camping setup specifically for our trip to Arnhem Land. And I made a purchase at the Arts Centre. I will show you that as well later on when I get a chance.
Can't wait.
She knows what it is.
Can't wait.
You are in for a treat, let me tell you. So we've just reached the turnoff towards Garig Gunak Barlu National Park after the town of Owen Py. From this point, it's 232 kilometres to the beginning of the national park. From that point on, it's another 86 kilometres to Smith Point, which is the far end of the national park, and that is where the ranger station is, and that is also where we will be camping. The car is filled brimming with 98 octane petrol. I have 2 5-litre jerry cans as well, completely filled with 98. So we've got as much fuel as we can carry. We've got 40-litre water tank. We've got 2 2-litre bottles of water and a bunch of water bottles to drink, because there's no facilities, there's no shops, there's no fuel, there's no anything in this place where we're going to. So this is one of the most remotest parts of this area here, and I'm loving it. I can't wait. The thing is that what attracts me to these areas especially this is a really difficult place to get to, because you have to travel across Arnhem Land, which is native title land. You need permits, and it's not just filling out a form and saying, paying some money and hey, the permit's issued. You need to justify why you want a permit. You need to justify a good reason of why you want to cross into their homeland and travel through their territory. And for me, the added difficulty for the whole trip is to get filming permits. So this is the case with Arnhem Land, this is the case with Kakadu, this is the case with Garig Gunak Barlu National Park. I needed to obtain filming permits and broadcast permits, and it's been a very, very arduous and lengthy and difficult process to get all the permits. But I have managed to get all the permits required, so for me it feels like quite an achievement to be able to come out all this way, and especially to film it and share this with the world. So I'm very much looking forward to the next few days of isolation and exploring the national park. It should be amazing. Susie, you're looking forward to it?
Yes, very much. Can't wait.
Can't wait. And so it's just going to be the two of us, and apparently in the national park it is such an exclusive national park that they only permit 6 cars in at a time. So there won't be many other people, but there will be about 1 trillion mosquitoes. So hopefully we'll survive it. There's some blue flags, what are they? Oh, there's people, there's kids there.
Oh, they got a fire.
So that was our first creek crossing, and there was a whole bunch of indigenous kids there playing in the water and around the water, and they had a fire going and they all waved excitedly saying hello, hello. It was really, really wonderful to see that. They were all so welcoming and so friendly that it was just a joyful experience.
It was very warming.
Yeah. Well, we've just spotted some more evidence of buffaloes, and I must say it feels good to be able to start spotting evidence of wildlife. We can tell if there's horses around or buffalo around or cassowaries simply by the poo that we encounter in the road. I'm sure that if we wait until the right time of day, especially just before sundown or just after sunup, then we'll see the buffaloes. But in the middle of the day, they're typically hiding somewhere in the shade or in the water, so we're unlikely to spot the buffaloes themselves right now, but we remain hopeful. But we see evidence of them around. Oh, the corrugations! The corrugations are back! Oh, hell! I just realised my bladder is full. The vegetation has changed in an instant. And looking up at the map of where we are, we have just arrived at the point where the track goes right next to the coastline. So just on the other side of this bunch of trees is the Timor Sea. So we've made it to the coast. Now we're turning a little bit inland, so in another 5 kilometres we're going to make a left-hand turn. We're going to go through a place called Moganella and head up towards the entrance to Garig Gunak Barlu National Park. We're not allowed to get out of the car, so we're still ploughing on. We've just spotted an animal in the road. I'm not sure if it was a buffalo or a horse, but well, what do you think it was?
I think it was a buffalo on the road.
There he is, he's a buffalo, right here.
Oh my god, look! Hello!
What is it?
Oh my god, he's going to charge us. Move! Move! Move!
There's one on this side as well. We're moving, he's out in the road now.
I don't know if he was just curious or was he maybe gonna...
With these corrugations and the squeaky suspension, we can't sneak up on any animal. So we spotted some more buffalo. That was really, really cool. Holy hell. We definitely can't sneak up to any buffalo like this.
Should try posting that out.
Yeah. Arnhem Land is full of surprises, and this place remains one of my favourite places in all of Western Arnhem Land. We've just stopped off at this river for a bit of lunch, and I don't know what this river's called, but there are so many fish. They're just jumping out, and I reckon I could probably catch one with my bare hands if I wanted to. It is spectacular. These fish are barramundi, and there are hundreds. The surrounding vegetation is very much rainforest-like. There's a lot of dense foliage and creepers. It is really beautiful. It's quite a few degrees cooler in the shade here. Very, very lovely. I can hear the whistling kites up above. They are fishing in the river, so it's just absolutely amazing spot. It's so tempting to go fishing for barramundi, but there are crocs around, and if you're not familiar with the area, staying this close to the water is definitely not advisable. The reason that I'm standing so close to the water is we've just encountered a tour guide who was taking a retired couple through here on a private tour.
You're welcome to come down a bit closer here.
We've been down there.
Ordinarily, I'd say this is close enough.
I would say no.
And he explained to me that normally you shouldn't stand this close to the water, but he's quite familiar with this area. There's a 3.5 metre crocodile that lives in these waters fairly close by, but the water's so shallow that if he were right here, you'd be able to see him. The water's only barely up half my leg to halfway below my knee, so it's quite shallow. You'd see him. So that is the only reason that he had some confidence in being this close to the water. It is a really amazing spot. I'm not going to linger for much longer. I can see Susie behind me waving to me to say get the hell out of there, so I'm going to be obedient and follow her advice. So time to move on. The tour guide seemed rather knowledgeable, so we asked him about the danger of buffalo.
Oh, probably not
Or
around the
just
car. That's
curious.
yeah, probably a little bit too much. If you got out of the car and approached it, they would most definitely charge you. Wild buffalo, not something to mess with. But if you end up with like a tame one, they are the most placid animals you'll ever meet. You know, you go over to South Asia and the kids ride their backs in the rice paddies. They're the most chilled animal in the world, but as soon as they're out bush in the wild, I wouldn't touch one with a 10-foot pole.
And I just want to clarify that the only reason that we stopped is because this other tour group was stopped here. If they wouldn't have been here, we would have driven straight through and not stopped at all. He also explained that it's kind of, even though the permit specifically says do not stop, it's kind of unreasonable to expect people to travel the entire distance, which could be 6, 7, 8 hours without a toilet break, or so it's really meant to just discourage people from getting out, wandering off the track, littering, doing all that sort of thing. But if you just want to stop, get out, stretch your legs, we've made some lunch, we're taking off all our waste with us, we're very careful not to leave any crumbs or any kind of sign that we've been here. And yeah, incredible spot. Time to move on. It is now well and truly after 2 p.m. and we still have a very long way to go to get to our camping spot. So we are hitting the road and trying to make good time. Now the place we're driving along now, there's more slow burns going on both sides of the track. We just managing to land, and as I explained back in Cahills, they need to do these burning operations throughout the year to reduce the risk of greater bushfires, and the bush actually needs to be burnt in order to regenerate. We're making our way closer and closer to the border of Garig National Park. This is buffalo country, so we're keeping our eyes peeled. Oh, we have just found unmistakable evidence of buffalo in the area. Okay, so we finally made it to the top end of West Arnhem Land. I'm just crossing the border from Arnhem Land into Garig Gunak Barlu National Park. We're going to be spending 3 days exploring the park, and then we're going to be heading back to Cahills for one more night. We are at this point here. It's 86 kilometres until this point up here. So we've got a fair way to go. And our campground is on the coast right here. It's a beautiful day, blue skies, 31 degrees at the moment, and we have about 86 more kilometres to do. So I was just saying as we were driving that I haven't encountered a snake yet. Well, it's been a wonderful day for spotting wildlife. Here is a snake right here. Now, this is not my first encounter with a snake, and I know exactly what it's doing. It's playing dead. And as soon as we drive off, it'll make a beeline for the other side of the road. You watch. So I'm going to get back in the car and leave it in peace. It's been a very long drive today, but with our destination firmly in our sights, we are in high spirits to be finally in Garig National Park. We're looking forward to finally arriving at our campsite when all of a sudden we've just seen the most horrific thing. We saw a cloud of dust in front of us, and we thought, oh, it's another vehicle, we'll slow down. And pretty soon the dust cloud got so thick we couldn't see at all. We stopped, hit the brakes, and we were just inching forward, and out of the dust loomed a four-wheel golf buggy type vehicle. And two guys are in it with a rifle, and standing about 10 meters from them was a buffalo. The buffalo was just standing there looking at them. and it was clear what was about to happen. There's active hunting going on in the park, and they're culling the buffalo because the buffalo are pests. As they trample the surrounding vegetation and they interfere with the native animals, so they're allowed to cull them. And this was the last few moments of this poor buffalo being alive. And they stopped and waited for us to pass, and I took a photo of the buffaloes who were passing by just out the window. But oh God, I feel so terrible. Like, poor buffaloes, you're just looking at them like you're not knowing that that's, you know, a couple of seconds time he's going to be gone. It's such a sad way to end the day. Anyway, we're about 10 minutes from our campsite. Well, it's 6 o'clock. We've finally made it to the camping area. It is just around the corner from where we are. And in fact, it's right up ahead. It's been an eventful day. It's been a long day. It's been about 6 hours of solid driving. So if you're coming out here, make sure that you've got enough time devoted to getting here. Now, I've used about a third of a tank of fuel to get here, and it's been from Jabiru, it's been 330 kilometres. Yeah. So it's been 330 kilometres just to get here, another 330 back, that's 660, and then there's another 50, 60, 80 kilometres of driving around the park. So that's an indication of how much fuel you need to devote to the journey. So we are now going to find our spot and cook some dinner, I think. Coming up in the next episode. So we are at Smith Point. This is the very tip of the Coburg Peninsula, and the view is amazing. There's some crumbling cliffs that we're standing on right now, and there's some rocks down below. There's a bit of a beach, and it's sensational, as is the rest of the park. It's absolutely beautiful. Check this out. Join us as we explore the absolute pristine beauty of Garig Gunak Barlu National Park. This is really interesting. You can see the shore here. All these shells are just embedded into the shore. So as beautiful as it is, just don't go near the water. A big thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. If you want to get on board, go to patreon.com/4xadventures. Thank you for your support.